Good Sunday morning, everybody. It's right at 6 a.m. Central Time on this January 19th, and I'm Chris Allen here on the SAM channel, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and X, all sponsored by Ace Hardware Marketplace. Well, we've got a little bit of snow coming down this morning, and I was just checking outside, and yeah, it's snowing a little bit here. You can see it covering. It's still dark here at 6 a.m. and a cloudy sky too, but it's still just before sunrise. And you can see that if you look toward the light, some of the lights across the street, you can see, little snowflakes that are starting to come down. They've been coming down for the last 30 to 45 minutes or so. And it's a dusting, it's not what you're hearing is my printer going off here in the back. So anyway, so yeah, I mean, it's for Bowling Green. It's going to be, a dusting. I don't think it's going to be a whole lot more than that, even though it kind of looks like it. Really, this is just a coating, a dusting. And some places could get maybe a half inch or close to an inch the further east you go. I mentioned that on Friday, that was a possibility. Now, we're not actually under any kind of a winter weather advisory or, anything like that that's going to be more of a, hey, you're going to get more than an inch. But primarily, if you live along and west of Interstate 65, it is going to be just light. It's going to be a dusting. It's going to be maybe at the most a half inch to close to an inch or less, we'll say. But as you go 65 east, now that is where you're more likely to get something that is going to be a little more on the order of an inch, like maybe over toward Campbellsville, Russell Springs, couple of inches up toward Louisville, Frankfort. And then there's that darker blue area, Lexington, Danville, Richmond. That's where you could see 2 to 3 inches of snow today. But this was expected. This is not anything that's like, oh, what is this? Surprise, surprise. No. This is part of the system. If you watched, yesterday or the day before, I was talking about this little piece of energy that would come through and produce some light snow. It'll be tapering off as we get into this afternoon and this evening. But the problem is, even though there's high confidence in some of these numbers, the main thing you've got to watch out for is travel. The impact on travel is going to be something that you'll find, especially if you're getting out early this morning and you're looking at the possibility of, going to church or going to work. Some of you go to work, or wherever you've got to go today. It's going to be a little tricky in some spots, especially on bridges and overpasses. Those are going to be the first to freeze. And just, it's more of a nuisance than it is anything else. So especially for the Bowling Green area and west, not a big concern. It's a little bit of snow, but it's not a big concern. So, just keep that in mind as you go through the morning, as the snow continues to fall across the area. So temperatures are perfect for this snow to fall. As you can see here from the Kentucky Mesonet Network, we're seeing temperatures starting out this morning in the 20s, and there are a few 30s, but it did get much colder last night. And here's the thing, it's going to get progressively colder as we go through the day. So whatever is falling is going to stick, and it's going to hang around for a while. So we've got mid to upper 20s right now, but you look back to the west and temperatures are falling into the low 20s. Then you throw in, there's a wind. The winds are coming out of the northwest, sustained at 10 to 15, with some higher gusts up to 20 to 25 miles per hour. Now, even at this hour, that's producing a wind chill in the teens. This is how it feels when you step outside here at just after 6 a.m. this morning. And you can see all those teens there, and even a single digit wind chill back into far western Kentucky. Now, I will warn you that we're about to see some very, very frigid. This is the beginning of the very, very frigid 72-hour plus period of some of the coldest air that we've had around here in years. Plus, there will be this little bit of snow setting on top of it. So, yeah, just get ready. This is it. Tonight, down into the single digits, but wind chills will be closer to zero in some cases. So this is the beginning of that big cold spell that is going to be with us for the next 3 days or more. Here's a look at radar this morning, along with some of the advisories. You can see all the blue shaded area here. That's light snow that's coming down at the moment here at 6:05 on this Sunday morning. Now, I'll highlight some of the advisories that are out there. This one is a new, it used to be called extreme cold. Now it's just called a cold weather advisory. It's a new product, just come out this winter. So a cold weather advisory really starts this evening and goes through noon tomorrow. And this includes the Bowling Green area. Very cold wind chills in the single digits, below zero expected. Hypothermia, prolonged exposure. And what it doesn't say here is the thing I've been talking about. This is going to be an opportunity in the next couple of days. It may not happen today or tomorrow, or it may wait till the second or third day of this. But some of you are going to have to deal with pipes freezing or batteries in your vehicles not wanting to crank. It's going to be that kind of a cold. And when you throw in the winds, it just makes it feel even worse. Now, once you get over toward Hardin, LaRue, Hart, Barron counties, and east, like I said, east of I-65, you're dealing with a winter weather advisory, which really goes from this evening when you're expected to get even a little more snow. That's where you could see that 1 to 2 inches of snow, slippery road conditions, low visibility, and some of the snow showers. And then the gusty winds of 15 to 25 will come with the snow showers, reduce visibility in some cases. You may think this is going to be a big snowstorm. It's not. It's just going to look that way for a little bit. And the bitter wind chills will start to take over those that are closer to zero. So all of this is continuing to move off to the east this morning. Anywhere across southern Kentucky, northern middle Tennessee, even as you go south to Nashville, you're going to find that coating on the roads this morning, and that's going to make for some slippery travel. I think for the most part, you're okay. Just be careful, okay? Because there are some slick spots. Like I said, a dusting to maybe close to an inch in some cases here along I-65, either side of it. But the further west you go, less of a chance of snow. The further east you go, that's where you're going to find the better odds of getting something a little measurable as far as snow is concerned. And even there, we're talking about just 1 or 2 inches at the most. This is a fast moving system. It's not going to hang around long. And you can see here by the weather maps, we've got this little disturbance coming through this morning. We get into the afternoon, it moves further away from us. There's Bowling Green and I-65. There's Nashville. There's Louisville. So everything primarily is going to be to the east of any real impact. Here we go into this evening. Everything starts to wind down. Skies will actually begin to clear as we get into tonight, and that, with a little bit of snowpack, is going to bring us down into the single digits for overnight lows. We're talking about after a high today of 28 to 30, we're going to get down to 7 for a low temperature tonight and by early tomorrow morning. But wind chills are going to be right at 0. Yeah. Now, tomorrow will be sunny, but the sun's not going to help with a stiff northwest breeze. We're only going to make it up to maybe 19 or 20 at the most. And then we fall back down tomorrow night. Here's high pressure continuing to hold on for us into early Tuesday morning. Skies are clear. We may see a few clouds on Tuesday. There's another little weak disturbance that tries to work through some of the eastern half of Kentucky with a few flurries. Here we go into Wednesday, still sunny to mostly sunny. And that's when we begin to feel the warmer air. Warmer air starts to take over as we get into Thursday, especially. We get closer to 40. And then Friday, there is that next little piece of energy that's going to affect mostly the Gulf Coast and the eastern seaboard, not us necessarily. There may be some places out east of Bowling Green that could see a little something out of that, but we stay in the upper 30s to low 40s during that time. And there's next Saturday, as you see, things stay pretty quiet. Now, I want to check the model blender, and you'll be able to see how temperatures are going to behave, if you will, over the coming 10-day stretch. So near 30, 28 to 30 today. But temperatures will continue to fall through the day. And now, with the winds kicking in, you get wind chill factors in the teens and single digits, but that will go down to close to 0 for tonight, as the winds will still be maybe 10 to 15, and then settle down a little bit more toward morning as skies begin to clear later this evening. With a dusting of snow or an inch or so on the ground, we'll get down to 7 for an overnight low. Tomorrow only, like I said, 19 to 21 for a high temperature. That's it. Then down close to the single digits or in the low teens tomorrow night. Back to 22 to 25 on Tuesday. Then back down to single digits Tuesday night, into Wednesday morning. Then we start to see this warm up. Wednesday will get a little warmer into the 30s, maybe close to freezing. But notice the next 3 days, not above freezing and well close to 0 for lows starting today and going at least through Wednesday. So that's that 72-hour period that we're below freezing. Not below 0, but below freezing. Then we see some moderation. Warmer air comes in for Thursday. And then we see temperatures that are really going to actually be more seasonable. We should be at 46 to 47 for a normal high temperature this time of the year. And that's where we're going to end up for this coming weekend and pretty much all next week, which is then closing out the end of January or close to it. So it is going to get warmer. We just got to get through. We make it through this next 72 hours and we're going to be a lot better off than what we've been, or that we'll be a lot better off On the other side of it, not so much right now. So yes, it is. It is going to be. It is going to be that kind of a deal here. We're just going to have to deal with it. Let's see here. Tanya Grace in the chat room this morning. Russellville and Murray, snow covered. Yeah. Okay. Uh, it's going to be a dusting. You look outside, it looks like more, but once the sun comes up, you'll see that it's just not going to be all that much. Enough to make a small impact, a nuisance if you're out driving around this morning. Here's Barbara, snowing in Glasgow. Okay, thank you, Barbara. Here is Ellen. We got a dusting here in Horse Cave. Okay. Oh, I got you. Let's see. Excuse me. I do this every morning here lately. It's just the weather. There's Evelyn, snowing on I-65, no salt trucks. Well, but they have been pre-treated. Most of the interstate's main areas have been pre-treated. You're going to find a little accumulation, mostly in the left-hand lane of the parkways and the interstates. That's naturally because we've got a breeze and it's blowing across and it's pushing it onto the especially left-hand lanes because the wind, if you're going north to south, which you would on 65, then the wind's coming from the north and northwest. So it's going to blow it across the highway there for a little bit. Just avoid that. They're not going to be just the salt trucks and all that's not going to be everywhere. Let's see. Here is Earl. Just drove down on Ken Bale Boulevard. That's here in Bowling Green. That's out where Sam's is and Drake's and all that. Don't think they pre-treated anything close to my area. Well, again, it just look. They do get out there. It's not always going to be a guarantee. That's what I want you guys to know. You can't just always depend on that. If you're going to be out, you just got to take it careful. You can't just go, oh, well, they salted the roads or they, it's not always going to be the case. Snow coming down in Adolphus, says Angela. Judy, snowing in Glasgow, roads are covered. Yep. Okay. Not surprised. Chad taking a proactive stance because he apparently has the equipment to do this. He says he's been out salting since 4:30 and the roads are covered with a dusting. Yep, you're right. There's Terry who's saying snowing off Porter Pike. That's here in Bowling Green. Virginia, the ground covered in Horse Cave. Okay. Let's see here. Juanita, snowing in Rockfield. Okay. So yeah, if you get out in the countryside, it's going to be a little bit worse, especially not every road gets pre-treated. Okay. Just understand that. Snow in Franklin. Gotcha. Okay. Snowing other places. People are saying. So everybody's getting some snow this morning. That's pretty much it. Just be careful. It's not going to be an all day big pile of snow kind of a thing. It's not going to be that. It's just going to be a dusting to an inch. Some of you may get a little bit more, especially if you live east of Bowling Green. Otherwise, the cold is the bigger, I guarantee the cold is going to be the biggest story in the next 72 hours, more than this little bit of snow. So I know everybody wants to talk about the snow, but once you start having issues with the cold, frozen pipes, batteries not wanting to crank over in your vehicle, and all the other complications that come with this kind of bitter cold, that is going to turn out to be the big story. I guarantee. All right. Have a great Sunday. Thank you for watching.